All right. Well, I'm back from the previous stream that I did where I was outside on my phone, and dang, was it hot. It's 7:30 right now, and it's like 850 degrees, 85, 87 degrees out there. I was sweating laying there in the sun. So what I was doing was very impromptu. Hello, Vic Fett. Yes, you are first. Pro Tyler says hi, second. Welcome back. I was running back and forth trying to get back on the stream fast enough. Yeah, so we've got some fun pictures to edit. Unfortunately, the purple ones that I bought, I specifically bought purple ones during 4th of July because I wanted to get the purple smoke. But they were just white. I don't understand why. But I can take those other colors. I think the shot that I'm going to choose is green. And it turned out really good smoke, because I had my camera set to like high-speed shutter. And so it was trying to capture a lot of frames. So it should be pretty neat. I got a little burned on my face and on my arms when it was shooting those sparks and things out at me. Little bits of the... I don't want to say it's gooey, but it's like these... it's kind of like molten stuff that makes all the smoke. It was kind of shooting out. Yeah, that one really worked. And what really worked well is making sure that it was shooting toward me and then me blowing on it. And so that would kind of like do like this whoosh effect. You can already see the blue just because I'm copying the files right now. This blue smoke just kind of went straight up in the air, didn't do much. Oh, I'm sorry about that, Pro Tyler. As much as I'm a Maya user, I do recommend Blender. Just got to get past that first kind of learning curve that's hard. And I'm a hypocrite because I tried myself and it wasn't that it was necessarily too hard. I just didn't stick with it because it was like, well, I can do this in just so quickly in Maya because I know Maya. But yeah, once you know Blender, that's the way to go. It's to paying $2,000 a year like I do. I don't regret initially learning Maya because, that's what I've used in every job that I've done. There's the occasional place that uses Blender, small studios and stuff. I'll probably give it another whack because, I want to do more tutorial-like stuff. And Blender is going to be way more accessible for people to do. So I really should take another whack at learning it. It's just when I'm, spending time doing something, I don't want to spend time, relearning everything. You're trying to import models into Blender and it won't load? Unfortunately, I can't speak to any of that. Maybe we could do like, if people are interested, a stream that's like, let's learn Blender together. And then we all kind of like have Blender open and learning individual things from the documentation. All right, well, you can see here I have taken a lot of photos. Now it's the arduous task of going through and picking which ones are actually superior. Let me set my camera in a safer place. Oh yeah, Vic, you use it for Roblox converting of stuff. Hey, Swiggy, I think it went well. I got a little burned, but just looking through this selection randomly. Ooh, here's a cool one. Actually, this might be one of the best candidates. This one, how it has the different layers of smoke. You can see how it kind of goes up over here, and then you see a little bit of that in the background, and then more smoke behind it. And you can kind of see, it's almost like I can animate through it. You can see it going backward into it right now. So like if I keep going up like this. Yeah, I'll have to Photoshop out the wires. Yeah, you can see like so many times it just fully fills up the screen and hides the characters. This one's kind of cool, but I like the one that shows more of the background. Ooh, this one's cool. It leaves kind of a very subtle effect of the background. I think this one is it, though. Look at these little wispy parts. How cool is that? What is this? 9942? Let's put on some Sonic music, by the way. We'll put on... What's the game that he's from? Sonic 06? Soundtrack. Let me make sure the sound looks good. Looks like it's really quiet for you guys. So I'm going to turn it up for y'all and then down a little bit for me. All right. Hi, Nitro Grenade. All right, so I'm liking 994, not 4. Which one did I like? This one's pretty cool. 9942, this is the best one. So what I like to do is I like to copy it. There's better ways that you can do this in Lightroom and stuff, but I don't have Lightroom. So I'm going to put this AAA so it shows up first alphabetically. Let's take a look at the first one. So this is what we started with. So these are just like test shots as I was testing the lighting and stuff. And I actually set them up, and you can see how I'm like taking pictures, looking at it, and then like moving them to a different position and stuff. Nitro Grenade, I actually have Ugly Sonic printing really big on my Bamboo printer. Oh my gosh, it's done. Yep, okay, it's done. I'm going to go grab it real quick, and we're going to show this on the stream. Oh, it looks dumb. It's so bad, Nitro Grenade. What model, Pro Tyler? Oh yeah, I only sent you the Tails ones. Can I send them to you after the stream? Can you run me? So here is a big ol' Ugly Sonic. It's too big. I just threw it in there just at a random size. I was like, oh yeah, it's probably this tall, but yeah, Sonic I assume is probably smaller like this, but I'm gonna paint this and like put it up on my wall. So it's just like in the background here maybe. I can't reach far enough. Or maybe on the back of that. There is Ugly Sonic. I'm gonna hang this up in our bedroom without telling Bailey. Hey, make it part of a giveaway? Yeah, maybe. Yeah. He's not perfect on the surface. Just because the model wasn't perfectly flat. The back's completely flat, but yeah, this is a yeah, good stuff. All right, well, let's get to editing this photo. Is anybody a Star Kid fan? I got a new shirt. Hatchetfield Nighthawks. Ka ka. If anybody, it's basically a if you know, you know kind of thing. Or I guess it's not that obscure. If you watch Star Kid, you know what it is. Ooh, this one's interesting. I like the colors here, even though the colors don't matter because I'm going to change them. I saw someone in the chat talk about making a Sonic R model. Yeah, that would be cool. Sorry, I was kind of doing other things when you were talking about that. Man, I got my mustache needs to be trimmed. Man, honestly, the music is kind of loud for me. Ah, that was Vix, yes. Yeah, these all kind of look pretty cool with the orange with the purple, but then all this white smoke here, that was supposed to be purple. This one's cool, how it's kind of like volumetric around him there. But I cut off the hand, because when I'm doing the fast shutter, I can't see it in real time, so if I move, I don't know if I messed it up or not. My hands shake. Yeah, none of these are really filling up the whole view very well either. Ooh, this one's kind of interesting. I kind of like the framing of this. Let me mark this as one that I like. Yeah, the blue always just seemed kind of weak, right? I don't know how it looked to you guys on the stream. It just kind of petered out quickly. For some reason, I only have a small number of the blue. Look at the yellow. You can see it. See all these little dark dots right here? That's the stuff that was flying toward me and burning me. Nitro. You've probably already seen this. I think you were here on the last stream when I showed it. So it's Chomp Chest. I haven't decided what the other next one will be. Man, this one just blows out the camera like crazy. The orange goes so well with the purple, but thematically, it just doesn't really match. I love the look of that thick smoke. Just looks so cool. I should have done two at once. Mix the colors. Ooh, look at these patterns and stuff. That looks so cool. Oh, look at that one where a little bit of smoke came in front of that one. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be using the green. But I might be changing the color of the green. Green goes with purple, though. I just don't, like, thematically, like, is there, like, any time where there's green smoke in Sonic 06? But then again, I guess, is there times when there's purple smoke? I don't know. Look at this. Look at the lighting difference between the sunlight hitting the toys like this and then the smoke making shadows over everything. That's so cool. I love this little square right here. Like, this alone might be a good photo if I crop it. Let's mark that. Yeah, it's funny how dark this photo is because of that. Ooh, this one looks neat too. Yeah, I'll probably be making Sheep Creep. He'd probably be kind of easy to make. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. It's like he's in this cave of smoke. Ooh, this one's neat, except for the fact that I cut off the finger of that one. Yeah, they are. Definitely cool images, but yeah, I think the one that stands out by far is that one that we've kind of already chosen. This looks so cool. This looks like a tornado or something. Ooh, this one looks neat. It obscures him just a little bit too much, though. This one's cool. I think there's just that one that can't be beat, which is this one. This one's good too, but this one is just so good. I think we're going to edit this one. 9942. Bailey, if you're still listening, I'm actually really thirsty again. So if you could bring me some more water, I'd appreciate that. I don't want to jump up and interrupt the stream, just in case you do hear me. Yeah, so we're going to edit this one. All right, so now is where we get to do some magic. So if any of you do photography, you may have heard of RAW editing. It means that it holds a lot more data in the image, but it doesn't look as good right away. So it looks very contrasty here. It looks a little bit flat. Luckily he's in focus, but unfortunately these guys aren't quite as in focus, but the goal is for the focus to be on him. So one of the things that I could have done is closed my aperture a little bit more, and that would give me a little bit more leeway of what's in focus. But let's just right off the bat start editing our values. So I do think I want this to be, ooh, interesting. Temperature being really cool is interesting. Yeah, I have tried stop motion before. I used a Dragon Frame, and I played around with it a little bit. It was one of those things where I didn't really get enough bang for my buck out of it. Yes, I'm definitely going to be doing a lot of crossovers. I was just thinking of some Pokemon ones lately. I want to do a Star Fox version. So, like, Fox McCloud is Tails. Peppy Hair is a modified Cream figure. I have an extra jet to make Falco. And then Slippy, I think I'm going to do like a Froggy version of Slippy. Should be really cool. Animatronic says, the only reason I know what you're talking about is because I fiddle with my camera when I do 3D animation. Yeah. And as I've been looking at the chat here, I've been seeing my voice levels. It seemed like I was pretty loud before. It was going into the red, so I'm turning myself down just a little bit. Let me know if that gets too quiet. I'm just trying to make it so that the audio quality is a little better instead of it going like hitting the limit. Alright, so right off the bat, these shadows are too dark. And that's the unfortunate part about this harsh lighting of the sun, is that we're going to get a lot of lines like this. Oh yeah, Legend of Amy, a Sonic Between Worlds. That's a good idea for the Zelda crossover. We can tint this whole thing purple too. Oh, thank you very much. So I'm going to pull up some of the shadows here. That's cool, and we can press the slash button to show what was the before and after. And already we're getting a lot more detail from that. We're losing some contrast, but I think it's fine. I also like to pull down the highlights, but in this shot I actually like a lot of the highlights, so I'm going to keep it just slightly pulled down. And the only I never pull up shadows this much. The only reason I did it here is because I want to soften up. You know, this just looks way too contrasty and dramatic. But there's a little bit more of a trick that we can do here. See how there's lines of shadows on these? Like where one of the character's elbows is casting a light or casting a shadow on the arm. Like, you know, there's a little bit of a shadow right here because of it. We can actually go in and paint certain areas. Like this line right here, we can go in and say, I want to paint a brush to select just this area, like this armpit here. Oops. I don't like that it lets you move the whole thing like that. Why would you ever want to do that? And so this armpit area, I'm just going to brighten up a little bit. So I'm going to turn off the overlay. now I can change the exposure on just that area. And that's getting a little too grainy because we're starting to lose the information. But I'm just going to pull up some of the shadows in these areas. And that's just going to help us like not have such a harsh shadow, a harsh line there. Let me see if I can... Yeah, so you see a little bit of a difference there. Not too much, but it's just all about just trying to hide some of that a little bit. And with that brush, we can also pull up some of this, and you'll see it's getting brighter as I do that. I mean, those are natural shadows too. You don't want to necessarily get rid of every shadow that exists in real life, but just to make it a little more pleasing. Hey, what's up, Go Dreamer? Good to see you. Now we do the same thing here. Just because there's, you know, it's like there's a distinct line there that I don't like. Do the same down here on his leg. A little bit right here just to bring back some information. Yeah. Yeah, you see the difference? See how we have those kind of ugly, sharp shadows? And these just kind of pull them away just a little bit. See a little bit of stuff right there that I don't like. Well, again, Nitro, I don't always trust this because when you said that there were 4 viewers and now it says 7, and at one point it showed 14. So it's like, I just think YouTube's reporting is... I don't stress about it. I always feel like there's a good number of people here. You guys are crazy loyal viewers. I very much appreciate it. Very consistent. Always makes it fun knowing that if I do stream something, somebody's gonna watch. That adds motivation. Believe it or not, the whole reason I'm doing any of this today is because I got home from rehearsal and I felt so uninspired. I just didn't feel like doing anything. So I forced myself to go out there and look at the shot that we got from it. I wasn't itching to do this. I was just like, I want to do something before I have to go to work tomorrow. And that's what I did. And I was like, oh, you know what? I might as well stream this. And now it's turning into a fun streaming night. My beard is, or my mustache is getting too long. I need to shave it. It's bugging me. And what's funny is we only really got this one good shot out of it, right? But that's just how it works. You have to just keep trying to get as many pictures as you can until it works. All right, let's see if we just shift the hue. Oh wait, this is I'm still in the version that only affects the mask. So let's go back to the main thing. So now you're seeing this is what it started as. This is what we're currently editing. It looks a lot nicer with being able to see the details without too much of a harsh shadow. Thank you, Go Dreamer. So yeah, seeing the back and forth, we're already looking cool, but there is so much more we can do to this. One of the things I like to do is add texture. So this is going to help a lot with Mephiles, his cracks here. Watch the difference when I say a lot more texture versus like none. That makes it real blurry. But here's default, and then here's more. I actually don't know if you'll be able to see that well on the stream, but it just gives it kind of a more high def feel to it. Hey, what's up, Freddy and friends? Good to see ya. Clarity does something with the lighting that I can't really put my finger on. I don't know the exact mathematical operation, but just kind of sharpens things up with the luminance maybe. And then dehaze is going to be interesting here because it'll often like unhaze a scene. And here I am making it hazier. Look at this. Like, because it's a hazy shot, it's taking out part of the smoke there, which is interesting. I feel like I lost some brightness though. Is that when we added texture? No, it's just I looked away from the screen for a little bit and forgot how I actually want to pull up some of these shadows even higher. Turn down texture just slightly and up the exposure a little bit. Not too much. I must feel like the clarity has kind of messed things up a little bit, so I'm just going to put that back to about 0. Texture down a little bit. Curve I don't often use, but it lets you do some things like add some different contrasts to things. I kind of like it as is, so I'm going to undo those changes. Detail is interesting because you can take out some of the noise in the image. There's not going to be a lot of noise in this image because I had my ISO very, very low, which means the lower that is, the less grain you're going to get, as long as you have enough light coming in. So if you're in a bright environment, you turn that ISO down. If you want to try to shoot dark, you can cheat it up a little bit. And if you want to make your wife really mad, put it up to 2000. My wife always gives me crap for putting the ISO too high. Thank you, Go Dreamer. Yeah, my secret is just to get on the ground. Like, we were in Japan, I was laying in a lake. My whole shoulder was just inside of the real-life version of the Lake of Rage. So we visited a lot of real-life Pokemon areas. And so the real version of Lake of Rage is called Lake Biwa. And so I was just like laying in that lake getting the shot, and while the waves were like splashing and stuff. And then I had to walk around on the train with like half my shirt wet. Alright, so here we can adjust the saturation of different things. So this button right here will actually let you go in and select a color to change. So if I wanted to saturate this one way up, I can just drag it or saturate it all the way down. So for instance, I could take these greens and I could take all the saturation out. Or I could put it all the way up. That looks really, really interesting there. That's not what we want. Same way we can do with luminance. So if I wanted these eyes to be darker, it just takes that part of the image. You'll notice that the thing he's standing on is also going down because it's in the same color range. So what we're doing here, I don't really see a lot that I want to edit with this. I kind of want to take the saturation of this down a little bit. And that's going to make the eyes go a little bit down. I never really liked the hot pink of its eyes, so I don't mind turning it down, but I'm also going to make those eyes glow a little bit when I edit this in Photoshop. Before I actually start doing hue, because that's one of the ways that we're going to change this green to another color, unfortunately, the hue shifter will only... Oh, that looks really cool though, like a yellow with the purple. Interesting. Hey, thanks, Alan Emocab. That's interesting. I was going to make this purple, but I kind of like it with seeing it as yellow. The blue also looks cool. But I think I do want to make this like a magenta pink, and that's going to come in Photoshop later, because obviously this will only let me shift things a certain way. I'm going to have to do a thing that says like turn all the green to purple, but then these guys might get lost in that, so I don't know. I'm actually having a hard time deciding where I want to go with this. I actually, if I like the yellow, then I kind of like a less saturated green, or maybe even more saturated. Ooh, that looks cool. Kind of like a sickly, weird green, along with the purple. Purple goes with green. Here's the original. Here's our edit. Ooh, I think I like this yellowish green with a little bit of these hints of blue in there. I'm not sure. How would I get purple without affecting the color of the figures? I'll show you once I'm in Photoshop. Well, this is Photoshop. This is a feature called Camera Raw. So I have to do all this editing here and then bring it in as a smart object, because bringing it in as a smart object, it'll let me go back to this window. But then at that point, then I've got all the traditional Photoshop tools where I can basically do what's called a change to color of the green to purple. And then it'll only change the greenish yellowish parts. without affecting the rest. In the same way that it can affect just the purples in the scene. See how I've desaturated this purple all the way down? The green didn't go down because it's only doing that part. Or I could really saturate the purple, which is too much, but I actually kind of like him a little desaturated here. No, he's better just with his default saturation. Don't want to take that away because that's kind of his signature color. Color grading is an interesting one because I can take just the shadows and give them a color. So it's kind of hard to tell because there's not a whole lot of dark shadows in here, but I'm tinting every shadow a certain color. And I can do the same thing with the highlights. So I could tint the highlights like a green, while the shadows are purple, if I so chose to. Yeah, this is interesting. Mid tones as well. It's like kind of the middle of it. Let's see how this looks before and after. Ooh, I think I kind of like it, the after. I think I'm liking the yellowish color with the purple. It's almost like this sickly green smoke. Maybe I'll just tone that down a little bit. It's like a middle ground between the two. Alright, optics. I don't really see any fringing, so I don't really need to use that. Nitro says, I'm just folding my clothes while watching the stream. Nice. Yeah, I need to fold a bunch of clothes. Vignetting, you can actually... I'm going to do my own vignetting later. But look how cool this makes it look. So here's the original. Look at the original versus this. It's like night and day how cool it looks. And in fact, I might keep some of that vignetting, but just not that much. Like 14 might be good. Because we're also going to be doing a lot of editing to this. So one of the toughest parts about this is when you say open, you have to click this button. And you have these three options. Oh man, as I think about it, I don't remember which one I like to do. Open as object. Yeah, because if you open it as an object, it makes it a smart object, and then you can double click and go back into the editing if you want. But once I start editing here, it's going to be difficult to make changes to the original raw settings. So you always want to try to get it as close as possible in that first stage that I just showed you. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do, I'm just going to duplicate this, and we're going to try doing a change to color effect. If I can remember how to do that. Is it channel mixer? Maybe selective color? There's multiple ways you can do this. Let's try selective color. So we're going to take our greens, and we can do things to them like pull more colors out of them. Like take out the magenta or add in a lot more yellow. But this is not what I was trying to do. It's not selective color. I'm trying to remember what exactly was the effect that I'm trying to do. Yeah, if you guys are interested in like toy photography tutorials and Photoshop tutorials, I'd be happy to do those. I think that would be good content. Is it color lookup? No. Oh, and selective color was one I just did. Channel mixer it might be. So our green, I can add more red to the green. Oh, no, see, that's not the effect I'm looking for. Ah. What was I thinking? Welcome back, Pro Tyler. It might just be hue and saturation, and then I'll just change the... I remember there was some kind of tool called change to color or something. Maybe it was in After Effects. But anyway. Oh, here's the green. Yeah, so if the greens isn't what I want, maybe the yellows? Okay, yeah, look at that. So now it's selecting just the yellows. If I desaturate, I can take it all out, and I can also say, hey, include more of the greens in this. So now we made everything black and white that was greenish yellow, right? So now I can bring that saturation back to normal, and we can shift the hue of that. So this is what I was talking about, is how I would turn it purple. But that looks ugly. It's ugly, it's boring. I mean, there's work that needs to be done. Even if we liked this color, there's work to be done to make these areas kind of not look weird and stuff. But color composition wise, this just isn't looking good. There's no distinction between it. It's the purple on purple. Just doesn't look good. So I'm glad we explored it, but yeah, it wasn't good. So I'm just going to get rid of it entirely. I honestly like this yellowish green with the purple. It doesn't necessarily make sense with the story. I don't think there's any points where there's like green smoke. Yeah, I like it. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to try out some AI, because see how this, I wish that this dirt piece would extend all the way to the camera, like from here, like that. But it doesn't. It just looks like a cliff. I would like to extend it. So the first thing I'm going to try is, let's see, drag this across. We're going to try using AI to continue the dirt. So that created this thing here, the generative fill. I can say continue the flat dirt all the way to the camera. Oh yeah, let's see it, Vic. Well, so while that's generating, let's see what Vic posted to the Discord. Oh, nice. Yeah, that'd be rad. So here's what Vic Fett posted. Just a crossover between the two. I like it. You should definitely do it. Oh, wow, this just worked great. Look at that. Ha! Look how good this worked, guys. So it's giving us 3 options. Ooh, that one works even better. Wow. Ooh, I like this one too. It's kind of a different pattern. Like, this one's more accurate to what it was. The AI straight up took the little bit of dirt that it saw here and made it come to the camera with just good perspective. Yeah, I think I like number 2 as well. Yeah, here's what it was before. So all the AI knew about was this little section here of the dirt. And then I said extend it toward the camera. I feel like there's a little bit of a perspective issue here. Like, this would be a little bit more bigger rocks and out of focus, but this is not bad at all. This one is good too. I like it because it's got like it looks like something different is happening here, but I think it pulls away from the image as a whole. And then this one's cool. It's just, it has like, it's brighter here, it's darker. It feels like there's more stuff going on here than it needs to. I feel like this is a great middle ground. Wow. It's just a little tiny thing with AI just to... It's so hard to feel certain ways about AI, because this was a great use of it. And obviously we put a lot of work in this. If you watched the stream before this, those of you who were here, I was down on the ground getting a cool shot, lighting this firework thing, and then I use AI just to enhance it. And, you know, that's different than using, you know, AI generated image and stuff. So it's hard to... It's almost like being hypocritical when I say I'm worried about certain things with AI, you know? But yeah, this just did such a good job. Let's go ahead and start erasing some of these lines. These are this baling wire that I use to hold things up. Gosh, I just love all the texture of the smoke. It's crazy. I'm gonna make a new layer here. I'm gonna press J. J is this healing brush tool up here, and there's 3 options for it if you hold down your mouse here. Oh, there's more than 3. I'm gonna use the spot healing brush tool. Gonna turn it down a little, and then oh yeah, look at that, it just erases it. in a lot of ways, before there was all this, big zeitgeist of AI, just using the healing brush tool, it's kind of AI in itself. Because it's looking around at pixels and trying to fill it in a smart way. It's like baby AI. And look at that. With just a few strokes of my stylus, but if you don't have a stylus, just use a mouse, that line is going away. So these are going to be harder to get rid of. So I'm going to press S to go into the clone stamp tool. I'm going to hold Alt to select this part. And you'll see it's not fully erasing. It's because my settings have it at 50% opacity. So I'm going to press 0 to make it 100% opacity. I'm just going to copy that section there. And just slowly erase all the unwanted parts. Yeah, looks cool. Looks like we got a little bit here. Just kind of blend these in. Because we also don't want to make any existing patterns show up, so a lot of times I'll do a clone stamp tool at full opacity, and then I'll go down to like 50% opacity, and then go in and just kind of blend the images together that way. And let's make sure to save this. I can't tell if this is like a wisp of smoke right here, if it's a reflection. I think it's a reflection, because this is definitely a reflection. Or maybe not. Maybe it is a wisp of smoke there. Interesting. I think we can go back to the healing brush tool and just knock that out easily. So when you set up the photos too, something I don't always do a great job at is trying to make sure that the wires are as unobtrusive as possible so that I have to do less Photoshop work. But I find myself just forgetting and having some obtrusive wires sometimes, and it's just a little bit harder to edit them out. One of my favorite shots that's very simple is just a Kyogre from Pokemon in front of the fountains at the Bellagio in Las Vegas. And to get that shot, I had to seriously set it up with just like this big plastic thing that would hold it. And I had to paint out the entirety of the holder and like reconstruct the shape of Kyogre. The before and after is pretty ridiculous. I don't know if I've ever posted the work in progress for like the before and after. I think that'd be interesting to show people how much work went into actually removing the supports for it. Ooh, this is looking cool. But we're not done yet. We're gonna do some fun effects now. So one thing that I did a long time ago was I took a little sparkler, like the little fireworks that just make sparks, and I shot it against black. And so I have this whole library of images that I can choose from. Let's see. Photography, effects. Sparks against black. Yeah, so I have this whole library of like spark effects that I can use that I just shot against black just to add them into things. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to make a loud noise by hitting that microphone. So we can add just little fun things. And this is something you could just grab off the internet. Like, you could just search for like sparks against black, but I like that I made it. And it was easy to make, so I could just add these into... I always add a little bit of these kind of bokeh effects into my shots. I like this one because it's pretty subtle. So we can actually grab it, drop it in like this. And one thing that I like to do is just make sure that the shadows are pretty dark, so we have full darkness. And I can take this whole thing. In this case, I'm going to rotate it like this. And then I'm going to change this to like a screen blending mode. Maybe add. And then I'm going to pull the whole thing over. And I'm going to do Control U, which would be a hue and saturation. We're going to turn it green. Or maybe not green, maybe yellow, or maybe let's try a purple. Maybe that'll tie in some of the purple of the shot. And scale it down. Ooh, actually, I like the original orange here, though. So I'm going to take the opacity way down, like to 20%. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like this with orange. Put some like down here. And I'll group those and I'll say, just call these sparks. And we'll call this one correction. And then you'll notice that there's some areas where the sparks kind of are off the screen. So I have to edit those out. So I'm going to give the whole group a mask. And then I'm just going to change it to a black paintbrush and just kind of paint it out. And these are a little bit hot down here, so I'm going to paint those out slightly. And just tone these down a little bit. Not too much. So that just gives kind of a very subtle little effect on the screen. I feel like I want something here, but composition-wise, let's analyze this. Let's see if I actually want to add anything to this. I'm going to do some red lines to talk about the composition of what's good and what's bad about this shot. So if you're interested in photography and framing things nicely, this is a good part to pay attention to, because I'm going to say what is good about this and what is bad. So on first glance, I look at this and I think, you know, I've got some big empty space here and some empty space here and some empty space here and here. But is that bad? Once I started looking, I initially thought that was bad just now, but now as I look at it, it kind of supports the composition of the scene. I wouldn't mind if a little bit more smoke was coming up like this, but obviously this is all fake. This is all AI. So I feel like there's a little something missing here. But where does your eye go when you look at this? So try looking at this image and just look at it casually and think about what is drawing your eye. When I'm doing this, so when I look at this, I'm right away looking at this eye here. Let me get my paintbrush smaller. I'm looking at these eyes here. I'm going around the head like this. And then I'm following this arm. This arm is drawing my eye up to some negative space. Now my eye wants to go somewhere. And it's going to get captured either by these lines with like this arm coming like this, or get captured by this foot. So this is the way that, and I did kind of intentionally do this, but it's also a little bit innate once you kind of get used to doing photography, is I always leave a space between them. So once your eye leaves a certain area, it's got this empty space. It wants to go somewhere. You need to direct the viewer around the image. There's a lot of different ways you can do that. With poses, like this arm specifically pointing this way. You could do it with eyes, and that's what I'm doing here. Is your eye might follow up this way around the arm, and then you see an eye right here that's pointing back down. You're like, oh, what's he looking at? Oh, he's looking down at Mephiles. Oh, cool, I'm following my eye right here. Ooh, look at this cool curve of the quill here. I almost wish that the quill went up a little bit, like this, because then it would direct your eye back up here, like, oh, here's this empty space. Oh, I'm catching something in this empty space. Well, that one is looking back down at here, so my eye is just continually in this motion, and like Pro Tyler said, the tower too, the tower supports this as well. We have this motion of the eye kind of drawing ourselves into this part of the image. And so that's why this empty space is actually okay, because there is nothing interesting here or here. You're not spending time in there. So these almost act like a buffer, keeping your eye line in this shape right here, right? And then the objects within that support it. And in this case, even the clouds help. Or the smoke. I couldn't control the smoke, really, but I could choose what I liked about the smoke, because some of those things that we looked at, we were like, oh, this smoke looks good, this looks bad. Part of the reason these smoke things look good and bad is because it has a pleasing shape to it. We have these backgrounds just complementing the contours of the figures really well, while also adding a lot of depth. These kind of two layers that developed here added a lot of the depth to the scene, making this guy really stand out. And you know, the tower supports that by giving it another level of depth. So what I see here when I look at the depth of this image, I see the far background as one layer of depth, the tower as a second layer, the smoke as a third layer. Both these guys I consider a fourth layer, and then Mephiles is the fifth layer. And that's how we're getting just depth in this image, and I really love it. Ironically, like, this is one of the only ones of the hundreds that I took out there that actually seemed to work properly. Oh man, yeah, I'm really liking this. Let's do a few experimental things. One thing we could do is add like a... oh, by the way, Pro Tyler, thanks for stopping by and watching. Have a good rest of your night. There's a few things I might want to try doing. And one is possibly adding a lens flare to the eyes. It's actually really hard to find reference for Mephiles' shadows. Let's see. But they're also called his minions. But like, there's only like a handful of these images, and I can never really find any that show well in the game. But they both have like this smoky effect and a lens flare in their eyes. So let's try it. Excuse me, I got a cough, so I'm going to mute myself. Sorry about that. So let's go back to my folder where I have a little lens flare effect somewhere in here. I throw this on a lot of different things that I work on. Put that up by the eye. We're going to change it to like add. And then one of the things you'll notice is we're still seeing a square around it. So what you need to do is Control L, which brings up the levels, and tell it that, hey, anything that's kind of black needs to get blacker. And then so these little bars here represent the brightness in the image. So I've pulled this part up to say that anything darker than this level is pure black. And we want pure black in this case because that's going to show up as fully invisible with this additive blending mode. Blending modes are basically just different math that happens on every pixel. And this is a very simple one. Some of them are very complex, but this one's very simple. All it says is add together the values. So if we may make a quick detour, but I'll try not to be too boring. Each one of these pixels, this little square up here, well, that's a big pixel, but you get the idea. Let's say the topmost pixel is going to have a value. If you're going 0 to 255, which a lot of color information is stored as, you're going to have, it's basically 256 colors, but it starts at 0, so it's 255. So pure white would be 255, in the red channel, 255 in the green channel, and 255 in the blue channel. If it was black, it would be 0, 0, 0. So when you do an additive blending layer, you're taking at each pixel, you're adding them together. So let's say you put, if you had something that was pure gray at about 128, like this, and then you add a fully black image to it, that pixel is going to be 128 plus 0, 128 plus 0, 128 plus 0, meaning it does nothing because it's adding no value to the image, right? Well, that's exactly why I made the background of this lens flare perfectly black. That way, only the parts that are bright are showing. It will never go above 255. Well, there are certain situations where you can, but that's a longer story. If I added pure gray to pure gray, it would be pure white. And so, not to go on too much of a tangent on that, but that's why you see different things like an additive blending mode or a multiply blending mode. Some of these like soft light, hard light, those get a little bit more complicated, but some of these are very easy. Add, multiply, subtract, divide. They all do these different mathematical operations, and that's what they're all about. So that's a long way to explain what I'm doing here by changing lens flare to linear dodge and then making sure that the background is pure black. It's because now we can take that and it's just adding this lens flare effect onto the eye. Ooh, I think that looks cool. I'm going to hold Alt and drag with my move tool, and that's going to actually create a copy. I can put a copy of that lens flare on this eye. I think that looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? While I'm waiting for a response to that, I'm going to catch up on chat. Vic says you should make action figures for action figures, like make small figures of characters from Sonic. So what you're saying is the characters from Sonic can hold a Sonic toy? That'd be way cool. Yeah, and then Nitro expands and says, like a figure accessory, very interesting. Like for photography where the character plays with action figures of themselves. I love it. That's a great idea. So these lens flares are a little bit bright, so I'm just going to group them, and then I'm going to change the opacity of that group down to probably 80%. Maybe 90. Yeah, that looks way cool. And what kind of powers does Mephiles have? Let's see.
Mephiles the dog.
Looks like he is holding a Chaos Emerald at times. Oh, he does have glowing eyes, so we can probably, yeah, let's add some glow to the eyes. That'll be cool. So what I'm going to do here is make a new group, and I'm going to use the object selection tool, and we're just going to see if that will catch the pink of the eyes very well. There's other ways we can do this, but I'm going to try this one first. Ooh, it just worked right off the bat. That's great. So let's take a color from this and then fill it with that color. And we're going to give it an outer glow. And that outer glow is going to also be that same color. And I think we can actually increase the size of this and the spread. And then I'm going to change the color overlay to be black. And then we're going to make this whole layer an add layer. But that doesn't work because it's a layer style. So let me group this. And then change the layer style of that group to add. I'm not digging it. That only works for certain techniques, and that is not looking good yet. All it did was give like an outer glow to the eyes, which we can still use. Hear me out. So we'll change the size here. But I might change the opacity of the color. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So now by changing the color overlay down, we're making his eyes glow a bit more. And I want to go back to that outer glow now and just change the size to be brighter and the spread to be lower, just so it's a more subtle effect. Here's nothing. Here's something. Nothing. Something. And I think it's good like that. Maybe the size, maybe the spread a little bit more just so it's thicker. Yeah, there we go. Now he's got some nice glowing eyes. I'm trying to decide if I think it's a bit too much. I'm going to tone it down just slightly. But we've got something I don't like here. Because we're making the eyes glow, but we've got such a sharp shadow right here. Eyes glow. I want to add another layer up here on top of everything where I kind of paint on top of this. Maybe with the healing brush tool first just to see what it does. I just don't like this dark black line. Yeah, we're going to go back in and erase that from the mask as well. Good call. Yeah, so now I've just healed it up a little bit to get rid of that effect. Now this is going to need some work. So what I'm going to do is add a mask to this eyes glow group. And then I'm going to erase everything because now the reason we're not seeing the green in here is because we're overpowering it with glow. And just by going in with a layer mask and turning it to black, it's also going to get the eye, the pupils looking darker as well, which will be nice. So this should be very nice and striking. And what I'm doing here is what's called non-destructive editing. So it means that, like, if I were to just use the eraser tool on this layer, that's gone forever, right? If I made this into a mask, everything white is going to be where it shows, and then I'll paint black, which means that well, it's actually not painting for some reason. There we go. So now it's almost as if this layer isn't here anymore. But it's not. I can go back in. It's not like I erased it. I just made it so the mask doesn't show there. So there was a big black line there. Now that we've erased this, it looks a lot different because we healed it. So I'm going to go in this layer. We're just going to sample from here and just kind of bring in a little bit more of the original, I don't know, like the texture of the eye. But I had the wrong layer selected. What I meant to do was just basically delete this or make it full white so that it exists fully. And then use this tool, the clone stamp tool, and just bring in more of the eye right here. And one of the things I don't like about this is it's way too dark now. So we're going to go in and brighten that up after I just fix up this other eye. So I'm going to paint black on the mask again. That's just going to bring everything back nicely. Yeah, when I'm zoomed in here, it looks nice and saturated, but when I zoom out, it just looks so dark. So now I'm going to add a new adjustment layer, or that's what it's called in After Effects. Here it would be called, oh no, it is an adjustment. I'm going to do some brightness and contrast. I'm going to set the values really high, for example. And then I'm going to fill the entire mask with black. And then I'm going to go in and just paint on the eyes. It's going to look ridiculous at first, but hear me out. Oh, actually, that looks pretty cool right away. So maybe this isn't bad. But it's exaggerated. I exaggerated the brightness just so I could see what I was painting better. And then we'll go ahead and adjust those settings after. But this is making the eyes look really nice and glowy. I think I'm actually quite happy with that. Yes, good idea, Nitro Grenade. And also Vic Fet. Yeah, I'll make both of the... I'll do the same for everybody. And we can actually use those same layers. So these eyes glow. We can do the same thing by painting just... What was it? It was just the pink that we can paint over the other eyes. Ooh, interesting. Because we've got all this other stuff going on with the lens flares, it's kind of just like making them a really cool, bright effect. Almost feels a bit much. What do you guys think? Let me try this. Let me try just doing the center of their eyes so that it just gets a little bit of a glow, but not too much. See that? See how I've just like done a little bit in the center? I think I actually want to tone down the glow just slightly. And let's just see if the same thing works right off the bat with this, or if I'm going to have to do a totally different effect. So let me just start painting in here. So you kind of see what's happening here, right? It's like, it's not really adding much to it except just the outside glow. So as I paint into this, you see like these glowing effects. But it's not affecting like the color inside too much. And maybe I do want that for this glowing base. There's something interesting happening here. Like if I just start going in with the eraser tool here to give it a texture. No, that's weird. Let's just keep adding. Well, I don't know why I keep trying to add stuff. I could just use the object selection tool to do that. And it seems that our music has stopped already. Just get it going again. Now we can use this mask to start filling everything in. And it looks like it accidentally added something we don't want, so we'll just use the eraser tool to go in and take that out. Welcome back, Pro Tyler. Go in here and just kind of add it there because it's, you know, it's got these areas behind his feet that we still want to capture. Hey, what's up, Howell Plays? No, I have not heard of Callie Hall. Erase some of this. Kind of leaving some hard lines there. Huh, I'm not sure how I feel about that. There's something cool there. It's definitely good that it glows. I'm not sure what I'm not liking about it. It's almost just like so highlighted that I want to see what happens if I were to take an eraser tool, put it to full softness. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the smudge tool, and I'm just trying to create some shapes that might look better. There's just something I'm not liking about what I'm doing here. I can't quite put my finger on it. It kind of just looks like I selected it and added a glow, which is kind of what I'm doing. Oh, strangely, it's not disappearing when I do that. What? Is this Photoshop just taking its time to catch up? Jeez, Highwell. It's 4:30 in the morning and I just woke up. I'm glad you can start your day here with us. So it looks like Photoshop's frozen up. While this does something, I'm going to go grab some more water. Be right back. Highwell Plays, here's Ugly Sonic for you. All right, hopefully Photoshop is being good again. No, it's almost like the graphics just aren't updating at all. This is concerning. Shoot. Well, it looks like it has saved. I'll call it backup 2 just to be safe. And then I'm going to close it and reopen. Hopefully that fixes the problem. There we go. Alright, so I think I know what I'm going to do to fix what I don't like about this. Is I'm just going to start erasing parts of it. So that's why I made this whole group. So that when I start to erase parts of it by painting black on the mask, it goes away but retains the glow. So I think this is what I don't like about it, is that it just looked like it was like choosing a part of it to glow, and then just leaving it like that. So if I just tone down the effect a lot, I think I like that better. Yeah, I think I agree with both of you. Yeah, the joke has been said a lot, but yeah, I will certainly always remember it was Nitro Grenade who gave me those nightmares and created this object that will continue to do so. Yeah, that's the thing about comedy is, you know, sometimes things can get old, but then they'll get new again, and give them some time. Kind of reading the room kind of thing. All right, I'm liking this. I do think I want to tone down the eyes, like on this side, just slightly, and that's what's great about using this mask for the whole group. Is like, if I were to start erasing parts of this, it messes it up. See how like this has an ugly shape to it? But by grouping that entire glow effect and then adding this, it lets me just say, I want to tone just down the whole effect on that side so it's not glowing quite so much. Kind of want to tone down the lens flares too. Yeah, I think that's nice there because it's a little bit toned down. Vic says, what if Nitro drew a picture of a new Ugly Sonic uglier than the old Popsicle one? Alright, yeah, I'm liking this. I think I want to tone down just a little bit more of the glow here. It's like just so that it's kind of like it's got glow around the edges, but not too much. Not overdoing it. Yeah, there's something here that's really feeling good. Just the color of the tower in the background is really cool too. Let's try adding some lens flares. So, you know, there's light coming from this direction. You always want to make sure that the lens flares come from the right direction. Wow, this brightness and contrast for the eyes really helps. But I think I'm just gonna do like a look for lens flares against. Oh wait, I forgot that I was watching this video to see what other things. Like maybe I could put something in his hand. I guess I could put a Chaos Emerald in his hand. He also has this ball thing. There's not really room to fit it in the composition, actually. So I think I actually just like having him just being like, here I am doing this thing. Like I'm summoning my minions, and we're going to fight you. So I actually think it's fine as is. Next we're going to add a vignette. And that's just going to be a black to white gradient. Oh my gosh. Click it. So I'll do something like this, and then invert it. Bring in the darkness a little bit, and then make the whole thing multiply. Remember how I was talking about like multiply layers and stuff? But really pull it up more so that the white. So we're just getting like the edges, like at its most extreme. Here's the spotlight like that. If we shift it so that it just darkens the edges a little bit. In fact, I'm even going to pull up the white a little bit more just so we're not affecting too much of the scene there. I also want to turn down the glow on this side a little bit. Oh man. Yeah, I'm having graphics problems. Like graphic card issues. That's why that is like displaying as transparent even though I did nothing to cause that. So weird. See, it's like I can't even do the work because it's just like can't update correctly. So let's save. Close it and then reopen. I've been having some graphics card issues lately. Not ideal. Dang, this is really rough. There we go. I feel like that vignette's a bit too much, so I'm going to put it down to like 50% opacity, just to keep it subtle. I might even put it down to like 40% opacity. I feel like the lens flares are a bit too bright as well. I'm going to put those down to like 40. Well, you know what it is? One of them's brighter than the other. I don't know why, or maybe it's just over a brighter area. So I'm going to individually put them down. Yeah. And I feel like I want the glow on the eyes to just be a little bit bigger. It's like less powerful but more spread out. I think that's going to help it just be a little more subtle, you know. Yeah, alright. The stream might be lagging because I'm having some graphics card problems. But we're pretty close to done anyway, so wrapping up. Yeah, it's possible that the same graphics problems that I'm having in Photoshop are causing the stream to do something bad. I always like to zoom out a lot and look at it from afar to get an idea of how it'll look at a passing glance. And my first thought is that I want the characters to be a little bit brighter. So I'm going to do Object Selection Tool. Select each object because I do want them to stand out a bit more. Alright, so now I have this layer. I can make another adjustment layer of levels. I can just brighten up specifically those characters. Like I can bring the black levels to be brighter while still doing this to keep the contrast. And using that same mask, I also want to up their saturation a bit, just to have them stand out even a little bit more. But I don't like how that's saturated the eyes, so I'm going to go back in and edit that mask to be a bit less. And same with the level. It might have been the levels that brought it up. Yeah, I think that's good. So now when I look at it, they stand out a bit more because they're more saturated and a little bit brighter. Yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. One of the things that I always do though is I let this sit. I'll post it to the Discord. I'll watch it. I'll look at it multiple times, throughout the day at different brightnesses on my phone in different situations, and just really studying and think, oh, I wish. There's so many times that I'll post something and I'll be like, oh, I wish I fixed this thing before it happened, or before I posted it. So I'll study this a lot and think about what updates I want to make, and then go from there. But I think for today, that's where it is. It was a pretty fun impromptu stream. This came about just because I wasn't feeling very inspired, so I was like, well, I gotta do something. So I went out and just did something that was on my list of need-to-dos. I'm pretty happy with it. This is pretty dang cool. What a fun image. Alright, well, thank y'all for watching. I don't have the other stream available, so I don't know who showed up during the one where I was actually outside. But let's read off who is in this chat here. We got Vic Fett, Nitro Grenade, Highwell Plays, Pro Tyler Adventures, Go Dreamer, Alan Emocab, and that's spelled as it sounds, E-M-O-C-A-B. That's for when I go back and type this in as I watch it. Freddy in France 2014, Amatronic Entertainment Fan, JL and CC, Swiggy. Wow, a lot of people showed up for an impromptu stream. Not bad. And that is all that Streamlabs has shown me. And Blue TH. Well, thank you guys so much for showing up, and I'll keep you updated if I make any edits to this image. I'll be posting this to the Discord right now, and then I'll be able to look at it multiple times and really study and think about what changes I want to make before I officially post it places. Yeah, this is really fun. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your day.